Hey everybody, Tommy here. Just got a lot of questions of people asking me how I create skins for my cars. And I'm going to kind of show you some of the things that I do that hopefully eliminate some of the errors everyone's been seeing. Um, I've been lucky enough that it looks like none of my cars have disappeared or crashed out on me. Um, so I'm going to kind of show you some of the tips and tricks that I do. Um, Now I use the old UI. Is a much easier UI to use in my opinion. Um, so to start, we go in and select our car, and I always start by I don't ever take one that I make. I don't create off of one that I made. I always choose one that I is a car from the game. So we're going to take this Castrol Racing uh, Rick Kelly car and click on the tuning, and it'll pull up the skin. Um, so then over here on the right, you want to start by clicking on the create directory, and it should load up. Now I always click on reload, and once it reloads, we should now have an alt down here for a variant. So you want to start with that, and then you can go with create a driver. So from that alt, we're going to create a driver. Now the enter new driver name, um, this is one that always has to be uh, unique. It cannot match anything else out there. So typically I use my car number, maybe a sponsor. So in this case, we'll just use uh, just a random number 34 underscore. Uh, I'll make my Harley car again. And then I always put in my year. So then you can enter your team name, Harley Racing, enter new car description. Um, so, uh, and you can put whatever you want in here right now. Um, and I'll show you guys how you can change it to say different things in the menu. And then you can enter in your car number there, click accept, and it'll take a second here to load up. And it'll bring us right back to our Castrol car, but now if you click on back, you'll see in the list here that we have a Harley Racing number 34. So you can select that car, now go into tuning, and now you'll see over here under the loose skin directory that it is for that 34 Harley 2021. So now I will bring over the folder for my Mustang, and you'll see that in the rFactor 2 user data player settings FVR supercars, whether you're doing the Ford Mustang or the Holden Commodore. So you'll see it created a folder up here with the driver name, and then also the other key file is this RCD file. You'll see they're all numbered. You want to make sure they are labeled in numerical order. That might be a cause of some problems, but this is the file that is key to making sure everything works when you're signing on to the server. So if I open up that last one up, it'll pop up here, the number 34 Harley 2021. That is actually in reference to the folder of where your skin is going to be saved. And then team name Harley Racing, which you can change whatever you want. the component is the FVR Supercars 2020 FM. The skin is where we will put our MOS file. So after you create all your files and put them in that folder, I try to keep the naming of all those files the same as this, just with Alt behind it. So we'll change that to, I can go ahead and change it now to 34 underscore Harley underscore 2021, and then I always do underscore alt, and then it will have a MOS file in there. And then the description, this is where it actually changes in the game itself. So if we go back here, I'm kind of a stickler. I like to make it look like how the guys at FVR, how they made the mod. I like to have it named the same kind of way. So you can take that file and change it to say pretty close to the same thing. So you can do your number 34, Harley Racing, Mustang, GT. And it'll automatically put the 10.05 behind it. So you can go ahead and save that. And then, like I said, you'll have these alts that populate automatically. I always just delete those right off the bat. I only use a folder on my desktop, which has all of my files for my skins. And so that way everything kind of stays away, it's all kind of clean, and all those files are now saved. So what you'll need obviously is your main skin. If you do any paint like things, you'll need your JSON file, region, dash, wheels, windows in, windows out. Then you can also get into doing the drivers and helmets. I unfortunately haven't gotten around to that, but eventually I will. And so those files, basically what I'll do is copy those. We'll go back into our folder and I'll paste these in here. And then I just go through and change this to match what I have the folder labeled at. 21 underscore alt. And an easy way I do it is I just copy that part there, hit enter, and then just kind of go down the line, since I'm going to use my Tab Performance skin just as a tester here to show you. Okay, so now all our files are named. We'll now fire up our MOS utility tool. And then basically what I do is I will just copy all these files into the MOS file tool, and then do save as. And then we'll save it in that folder, the Harley 2021 folder, and again name it the same kind of naming that you made all your files, underscore alt, and then once you have it named correctly, hit enter and it should save. So now we have our MOS file here. Now the big thing that I do just to make sure everything doesn't, and again that's why I use a separate folder, because I'll pull all the files from that separate folder into the MOS tool, this has made it easier to rename. I will delete them all, so only file that I have in this folder is just my Moss file. So now, if I go back to my game, we'll back out of this, we'll let the cars refresh. Looks like I'll have to restart the game to get it to rename my description. But now if we click on tuning, of course it didn't do it correctly. Reload. Okay, there we go. So there we go. So there is my skin within the game. Um, like I said, and the big key that I have found is I've made a couple skins before where I used, I made another one and put it in that same folder as this one. So I had an Alt 1, an Alt 2, an Alt 3. Um, that seems to always kind of screw up on the server side. So for now, kind of a thing that I've done is I have now started to where I will only make my skins. I will make a new driver for every skin that I do. So I have everybody else's ones, but um, so you can kind of see I've got that one. I've got my off-road um, racing Mustang that I've been working on, um, and so I've found that to be much more stable as far as our skins go to keep everything clean, keep it uh, working well on the server. Knock on wood, I haven't had any of mine drop here as of late. Once I started doing uh, the single files, not having multiple skins under one driver. So that is how I do it, guys. It's not terribly hard, fair, kind of easy, but those are just some of the tricks that I've come across that seem to work out well for me. So I hope this helps out with you, and we'll catch you guys on the weekend.